Hello and welcome. I'm Anna Muto, and I'll be your host today for Pure Earth's inaugural Force of Nature Luncheon as we celebrate International Women's Day. I've been involved with Pure Earth for over 10 years as a supporter, and a few years ago I joined Pure Earth's team as a board member. I'm honored to be your host, and thank you all for joining us. Today marks 65 years since the UN declared March 8th to be the day to celebrate contributions and achievements of women globally and call to action for accelerating women's equality. This year, the theme for International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. A challenged world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change. Join us on social media to celebrate Pure Earth's inaugural Force of Nature Luncheon using the hashtag Choose to Challenge. Today, we celebrate the achievements of 3 women who've made remarkable contributions to solving the pollution crisis in low and middle income countries. The women highlighted today are all forces of nature who've made great strides in choosing to challenge the status quo. They've all fought for a better and more equitable world for women and children. You'll meet an empowerment circle of women in Mexico, as well as Dr. Pamela Das, a leading editor at the Lancet Medical Journal, and our 3 Forces of Nature honorees, Pure Earth Philippines Country Director Laura Ibanez, and Colleen Diet with HSBC, who's been recognized for her work with water pollution. And last but not least, Pure Earth board member and dedicated supporter, Charlotte Trefus. They'll be joined by my fellow board members, Conrad Meyer and Richard Fuller. We also have a special treat from Magnolia Bakery's COO and Chief Baking Officer, Bobby Lloyd, who will be teaching us how to make their signature banana pudding. Finally, Louise Blay, who's the Ambassador and Deputy Permanent Representative at Permanent Mission of Canada to the United Nations, will share her insight on the power of feminine leadership. Choose to Challenge is a particularly apt theme for the work Pure Earth has been doing for 20 years. Richard Fuller founded this organization by choosing to challenge the growing industrial pollution crisis in poor countries that others ignored, saw as inevitable, or too massive to even try. Rich, however, went into communities who were living with severe pollution to better understand the situation. Through this process, he learned how pregnant women and children were being harmed by toxic waste the most. Seeing this impact on surrounding communities, Rich and the Pure Earth team designed rapid, low-cost technical interventions to protect these communities, especially women and children. Let's get started with today's program by taking a quick trip to Mexico to meet the Círculo de Mujeres.
Parte más con su dedo o con la poquito que no se enrosque.
Entonces, yo creo que pues el mirarnos a veces pues nos hace falta tener un espejo así grandote y mirarnos completamente cómo soy, qué tengo y qué puedo hacer. Y para mí la actividad fue muy bonita, todas las actividades. Y pues es lo que yo les comparto, pero que les comparto también Lucía. Gracias. Gracias.
Y ya vamos a ir viendo la carpeta. Es decir, fíjense que le vamos a decir que no sé si les pasa, porque a mí sí, si mi hijo me recomienda un dulce, digo, pues mamá, dame.
What an amazing program! And you can also help. You can support these women in our efforts around the globe that improve maternal and child health, as well as enable safe livelihoods by checking out the Force of Nature pop-up shop at pureearthpopup.com. Make sure you check your email. This link was also emailed to you and can also be found on our website at pureearth.org. By heading to the Force of Nature pop-up shop, you can help buy lead-free glaze for $75, firewood for Potter's Kiln for $25, or train an entire community of potters for $5,000. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome a leading editor from the world's most prestigious medical journal, Dr. Pamela Dawes, Senior Executive Editor at The Lancet. Dr. Dawes is a passionate global health advocate. She's co-chair of The Lancet's Group for Racial Equality, and she'll help us understand the impact of pollution on maternal and child health.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pam Dawes, and I'm a Senior Executive Editor at The Lancet Medical Journal. I worked closely with Pure Earth and Richard when serving as editor for the Lancet Commission on Pollution over 3 years ago. The publication was the first comprehensive assessment of the effects on health and the economic costs to society from environmental pollution. By that we mean air, water, and soil worldwide. The top-line messages were that in 2015, pollution was responsible for 9 million premature deaths, and that 92% of that burden was in low and middle-income countries. Furthermore, the report found that the effects of pollution exerts a considerable economic toll, amounting to 4.6 trillion per year in welfare costs. The report received global coverage with nearly 3,000 articles in the first weeks after publication, and according to Plum Metrics, has been cited almost 1,000 times. So the report really helped to bring attention to what has been a neglected issue, and importantly, provided the evidence that pollution was not only an environmental problem, but a global public health crisis. The Commission also laid out actionable and cost-effective strategies and solutions for policymakers, as well as knowledge gaps and an agenda for future work. In celebrating the contributions and achievements of women, the Commission had many leading women scientists and academics. One notable figure is Professor Federica Pereira, the director of the Columbia Center for Children's Environmental Health. She is internationally recognized for pioneering the field of molecular epidemiology. Her longitudinal cohort studies of pregnant women and their children have demonstrated the harmful links between environmental exposures and disease using molecular biomarkers. Prenatal exposure to toxic chemicals, pesticides, and air pollution result in increased risk of preterm birth, low birth weight, asthma, loss of IQ, and behavioral and learning problems that can affect health and productivity over a lifetime. In addition to our scientific understanding, this work provides are the shocking disparities in the health impacts of toxic chemicals, air pollutants, and climate change. Pereira has observed that not only do minority and low-income communities suffer disproportionately high exposures, but stressors due to poverty and racism magnify their effects. The result is a heavy overall burden of disease endured by these communities. As the theme of this year's International Women's Day states, we must choose to challenge. We must choose to challenge these environmental injustices. We know pollution affects everyone, but women really do face heightened risks due to structural and biological factors, including lower wages, lack of decent jobs, motherhood and menstruation, traditional gender roles, and cultural norms, which usually mean that women are responsible for cooking, fetching water, and cleaning, due to which they end up right next to pollution sources. Pollution in its various forms disproportionately affects women, and it is imperative that policies to address pollution must consider gender. A previous Lancet Commission on Women and Health, the Key for Sustainable Health, asserted that women's contribution to society is under-recognised and undervalued, economically, socially, politically, and culturally. If society is to flourish, so too must the health and well-being of women. This commission concluded that when women are healthy, valued, enabled, and empowered, sustainable development is achievable. It's up to all of us to work towards this goal. I'm really pleased that Pure Earth is using International Women's Day to bring attention to the devastating impacts of pollution on women and children's health.
Thank you, Pam, for that vital information. Next up, we have Pure Earth founder and CEO, Rich Fuller, to present Laura Ibanez with our first Force of Nature Award. Laura is Pure Earth's country director in the Philippines.
I'm very hopeful and excited today to recognize three extraordinary committed women who have been working on these issues with Pure Earth for quite some time. So Charlotte Trefis, Lara Ibanez, and Colleen Dayet, congratulations to the three of you. The things you've done today have been marvelous. I look forward to continuing this work. As we all know, we're just scratching the surface and there's so much more to do. But it's my pleasure first to welcome Lara, who's in the Philippines, and present her with her Force of Nature Award. Hi, Lara.
Hi, Rich. I'm doing great.
I can't believe it's been 9 years we've been working together with Pure Earth. What an extraordinary journey we've had along the way. You're quiet and strong and one of the smartest people in our team. And, whenever you speak, we know we've got to listen really well because you really know what you're doing, and it's wonderful to work with you.
Before this job, I was actually also working on an environmental project, and it was also about cleaning a polluted river system. And I thought, I'm not going to do toxics anymore, but soon enough, I'm back on board on a river that we have to clean up. And so it's been challenging, but at the same time, rewarding. I thought it's going to be just a short while, but here I am 9 years later and continuing with the work that we're doing.
Couldn't be happier. And tell me, what has it been like dealing with this particular river system?
Yeah, so we've been working with HSBC for 7 years now. We started, that's my first project when I entered Pure Earth, and it was a huge task to do because we were doing a big project with 4 components. One is pilot testing remediation technologies for our fish farms, because we found out that, the polluted river feeds into these fish farms, and so the fishes can be contaminated, and it has huge public health risks. And then we did river quality monitoring and fish quality monitoring, and we had awareness raising campaigns and capacity building for all the stakeholders. So it was really huge. We had to do a series of road shows to raise awareness, go to the schools, talk to the government and the industries. everyone, to get everyone on board on this mission to help rehabilitate the river system, but at the same time, do something significant with regards to the fish farms, which is a critical component. It's been a lot of work. We were able to find out something that would work, and that's something that's practical for our fish farmers to adopt.
It's something I think that will make a real difference in the future of the Philippines. And I remember that first season when we had those floods go through, and all the scrambling to try and work out how we could get some usable data from so much work. But it turned out great in the end, and now we know we're protecting more than 300,000 people with safer and healthier food. So I'm really proud of how it's gone. And it's not just that we've been doing in the Philippines. We've also been working on toxic hotspots, this time with Asian Development Bank and USAID and the Global Environment Facility. I'm wondering if you can talk about what we discovered from that work.
Well, this is really, really our flagship as Pure Earth, right, Rich? Toxic Sites Identification Program. And we're glad that we have worked with this organization supporting this work in the Philippines. So what we found out is that actually out of about 250 sites that we have entered into our database, 20% are lead sites. So these sites have lead as their key contaminant. So that's not counting the other sites, which might not have lead as the key contaminant, but still have lead among its contaminates. We've seen with Pure Earth that this thing is solvable. We're glad that through one project we were able to clean up one lead contaminated site, which protected children from being poisoned by lead. And so we want to continue building on that kind of work.
As you well know, the report we issued with UNICEF using data from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation found that 20 million Filipino children have elevated blood lead levels, are lead poisoned at low levels. And that's half of all Filipino children. So this is an extraordinary and important new area for us to pursue. So I'm really excited about the plans we have under development to tackle this particular area. And I know you're absolutely ready to take it on. And I'm so happy that with your creativity and resolve and plans and efforts in all of these areas. And it just is such a delight for me to present to you now our Pure Earth's 2021 Force of Nature Award. It's been created specifically for this event. It was designed by our lead-free potters in Mexico, and they join us as well to support you in this goal of eliminating lead exposure for all children around the world. So congratulations, Lara.
It's really humbling. There's still more to do. And I couldn't be more excited with this direction that we're going in here in the Philippines. It's personally even my dream project to really contribute something that is significant and I so believe in as relevant to our country. Looking into the blood lead levels of Filipino children. So we have to be proactive in knowing and gathering the data so that we can come up with solutions as early as possible. I believe that's the way to go and we're ready to take it on. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank HSBC for supporting us through the years. It's been 7 years of partnership. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to do the things we're able to do, helping the fish farmers sustainably through the years, and also doing all this volunteering activities, which involved actually about 2,000 of their employee volunteers. And leading those volunteers, it's my honor to introduce Colleen, who will be awarded also the Force of Nature Award for being such a staunch supporter of all our efforts. She's been with us for throughout the duration of our partnership, and she's been with us waking up at the wee hours to set up the activities, to do the cleanups, to go to the mountains for tree planting. And so, Colleen, it is my honor to give you this award. It is so well deserved.
Thank you for this Force of Nature Award. I am very fortunate to be part of HSBC, an organization that greatly cares not only for the communities, but also for the planet, and have Pure Earth as their partner organization. Volunteering for Pure Earth provides a sense of purpose and opportunity to learn new things. It connects us to others, exposing us to people with common interests, create connection to the environment and the people that we are helping. It also cultivates more friendship with volunteers. Pure Earth's volunteering program opened our eyes and created more advocates of a clearer environment. We hope to continue with the current programs and create more where volunteers will be exposed to activities where pollution is more evident and relatable. We would also want to encourage other companies to participate and get involved in this meaningful way and protect children's potential and clean up disease-causing pollution. Immersion to engagement activities is a gateway to awareness. The impact of seeing things in print or media is very much different if we're being physically there. It's very easy to say that the Earth's already polluted, but it's another thing when we're doing something about it. As Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much.
Congratulations and thank you, Colleen. Your tireless environmental efforts touch so many lives and help protect the health of women and children. Please support the life-saving work underway in the Philippines. Check out the Force of Nature pop-up shop at pureearthpopup.com. We have a special bonus for anyone who's able to donate $50 or more. You'll receive the Force of Nature Starter Kit, which provides everything you need to make a family-friendly, multi-purpose cleaner. It's really cool. All you need is salt, water, and vinegar in place of toxic chemicals. We were pleasantly surprised to find a great company with the same name as our event to team up with to provide this bonus. It's time for something a bit different. I'm thrilled to introduce you to Bobby Lloyd, Chief Baking Officer for Magnolia Bakery. Bobby is a strong female leader who's played an integral role in expanding Magnolia Bakery from its original location in New York City's West Village to locations worldwide as far-reaching as Laura and Colleen's turf in the Philippines. She's an amazing baker who's going to share a special recipe with us today. But she also has a great story about how she became a passionate supporter of Pure Earth.
I'm so happy to be here celebrating International Women's Day, recognizing women's achievements and their power to be leaders, especially when it comes to preventing the families from being exposed to pollution. I was lucky to travel to Peru a few years ago and see firsthand the amazing work that Pure Earth does helping communities learn how to improve their soil, their water and air quality, and to protect their families. Jen tells me she's planning a trip to visit Pure Earth's work in Peru post-COVID. Maybe some of us will get to travel together. It's so inspiring to hear Laura's work leading the office in the Philippines and her vision to reduce lead exposures affecting half of the country's children, and Colleen's work organizing hundreds of HSBC volunteers to fight river pollution. Did you know that the Philippines are one of the top global exporters of bananas? Well, here at Magnolia Bakery, we make a lot of banana pudding, and we have a bakery in the Philippines. So I'm going to take a moment and show you how to make our classic world-famous banana pudding. We're going to do the fast version of it. I've already made what we call pudding part 1, which is this sort of thick gelatinous
mixture, and that's made by mixing together water, some sweetened condensed milk, and a vanilla pudding mix. And you just whisk that together, stick this in a bowl in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. It's really rather quick. When you're done with that, you're going to make some whipped cream. You're going to add that mixture to the whipped cream, and you end up with what we call pudding part 2. And this is what is the magic that makes this all taste so fantastic. Now, I've already started a couple of layers so that we don't have to start from beginning to end, but it's just combining bananas with your pudding mix and some cookies. Spread the cookies around so that the layer is covered, but not completely covered, so you can't see any of the pudding. And then you're going to add bananas on top of that. Don't know if these are from the Philippines or not, but layer the bananas across the top of the pudding. And it's all about layering in this dessert. And you let your refrigerator do the work. Goes in the fridge and sits for about 6 hours. So after I've covered this with bananas, about 1.5 to 2 bananas in total, spread them out so it's nice and even. And then we're going to cover that with more of this pudding mixture and scooping it out. And then I just like to use this one handy dandy little tool and spread it around, covering all of the cookies. Let that sit in the fridge for about 4 to 6 hours until the cookies are soft. Be sure to visit Pure Earth's Giving pop-up shop to support their work. Thanks for following along, and please continue to support the amazing work that Pure Earth does. Our planet depends on it. Thank you.
Now, it's my pleasure to introduce to my fellow board members, our board chair, Conrad Meyer, and Charlotte Trefis, the force of nature behind the successful 10 Million Lives campaign.
Anna, thank you for that kind introduction. And let me begin by thanking all of you for joining us here today. I'm really excited about this, our first celebration of International Women's Day at Pure Earth. And I'm really looking forward to it becoming an annual event, because I think you've seen through the program today the really strong connection between what Pure Earth does and the well-being of women everywhere. Now, I think you can appreciate the challenge we were faced with when we were trying to find a candidate for a prize with the title A Force of Nature. A force of nature doesn't include words like most improved or runner-up. This is the big time, the hurricane, as it were. But we're quite lucky here at Pure Earth because Charlotte truly is a force of nature. In fact, I've made up a new nickname for her, Tornado Trefis. Where should I start on trying to outline Charlotte's contributions to Pure Earth? She's been on our board for almost a decade. She was our first female board member, and she's worked very hard to change the composition of our board, which now includes 7 women. And that's a change that we all feel we're a better organization for. Charlotte regularly helps to lead the board's efforts for our annual gala. And importantly, she co-chaired our campaign for 10 Million Lives, which just last year met its goal of $10 million in fundraising. Charlotte doesn't content herself with just staying here in the US. She's traveled literally around the world to visit Pure Earth projects and Pure Earth staff. And as a result of that, she really knows firsthand what we do throughout the world. Equally importantly, she's been tireless in using that experience to persuade others and convince them to help work with us in our fight against pollution. And if all that wasn't enough, Charlotte has joined us now in launching this important event around International Women's Day, drawing attention to the really important implications that pollution has on maternal and child health, and trying to put forward women's role in helping to correct this problem. I think you can appreciate that it's pretty humbling to be around Charlotte. She sets a pretty high bar for the rest of us, and she surely keeps all of us on our toes. So you won't be surprised that it gives me great pleasure to give you, Charlotte, our dear friend, our secret tornado, the first annual Pure Earth Force of Nature Award. Let me see if I can fit your tree of life through the internet to you.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, she is amazing. A real force of nature. Thank you, Conrad. I'm totally honored to be recognized for my work with Pure Earth. When I first spoke to Rich about Pure Earth 20 years ago, he told me there were 5,000 places in the world that, if cleaned up, would improve the lives of millions of kids. That possibility was exciting. It touched my heart. The first time my heart was touched in this way was when I was 7 years old. A representative of the Royal Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Children came to my school and asked us to collect coins for them to save other children. I became aware that day that not every child was living a safe, healthy life, that their circumstances were hurting them. I passionately collected those coins. I never forgot it. I can still see the images of those kids. It changed me, and it led me to this moment and to Pure Earth. I found Pure Earth compelling because they focus on the issues that resonate with me, the health and safety of children whose circumstances are hurting them, be it the women dismantling used car batteries in India, the artisans making lead-glazed pottery in Mexico, or the women gold miners in Mongolia. They are mothers going about their lives, earning a living, and taking care of their families the best they can. But the work they do poisons them. After high school, I found myself in India, where my Aunt Judy owned a large clothing business. As her assistant, I traveled to cottage industries in villages, on the roofs of houses, and in their yards, all with chickens and children running between the frames that held fabric being stitched by women using traditional beading methods. I witnessed women empowered through their work. When I went back to India 4 years ago with Pure Earth, I saw a different group of women. I saw women breaking open used car batteries to retrieve the lead, which they sold to put food on their tables. No one told them they were taking the lead home on their clothes and poisoning their children's future. Women's work should be empowering and not imperiling. We now know through Pure Earth's Toxic Truth Report that there are 800 million children in the world living with the permanent effects of lead exposure. They're being poisoned through their parents' work, through playing in their yards, eating the food that should nourish them, even through their mother's breast milk. So how does Pure Earth work? It partners with women and communities because we know that when women get together, particularly when the health of their children is at stake, they're capable of tremendous tenacity and bravery in making necessary changes that can be difficult. Donna Eldemira of the Circle of Women in the video that we just saw says, "Clay is everything. Our pottery we take to market and exchange it for food. Clay is life. When I'm in the circle, I don't feel like I'm drowning. I'm relieved of my burdens. It's like therapy, and I feel better after the circle." Small-scale projects spearheaded by women in their communities become proof of concept that larger projects are not only possible, but straightforward. The solutions to toxic pollution are doable, relatively inexpensive, and reproducible. Pure Earth has proven this time and time again. There is infinite light at the end of this tunnel. I hope I had a similar effect on you as the RSPCC had on me, and that you support this life-saving work today. Please go to the Force of Nature pop-up shop and donate by choosing one of the 12 projects offered. As my friend Ellen said, there is a project for everyone. Also, while on your phone, join us on Instagram at Pure Earth Now and broaden our reach. Help us reach all your friends and thereby their friends. Together, we become a grassroots effort. And contact me at charlotte@pureearth.org with your ideas. I'm here and I'm listening. Together, we'll make Pure Earth.
Charlotte, we have a few more people who have a special message for you.
Charlotte Trefis, I'm so excited you're winning this award.
It's a delight to talk about Charlotte, her enthusiasm, her sense of life.
I have always been struck by the way she can use her sense of joy and fun and humor and her creativity, but also always have in mind the seriousness of the work that we do.
My daughter-in-law Charlotte is surely a force for good, with her abundant generosity of spirit and her often indefatigable energy, which sometimes truly amazes me.
She puts all her energy into how she can transform lives and change the world for the better.
Even as a child, she was forthright, full of ideas, and a born leader.
Charlotte is one of those rare people you will meet, who not only can imagine how to make the world a better place, but she's one of those people who just rolls up her sleeves and gets to the work of making it so.
There's no question. She wants what is best for the world.
She knows the difference between right and wrong, and she is decent and honest. She cares about making the world a better place. She hates injustice and hypocrisy.
Charlotte challenges the world to be better, and she's not afraid of people who might disagree with her because she knows in her core her truth.
And she's straightforward. Yeah, she's really straightforward, in fact.
She knows in her heart and mind and bones that when we heal these toxic wounds and protect the most vulnerable people in the world, then we all benefit.
She stands up for people without a voice, and for people she may never meet, and for generations she may not be here to see.
Charlotte has this incredible vision of what the world could be like if we all made small changes.
Charlotte's warm and powerful heart holds a healing space for our planet and for everyone on it.
She's a source of joy and light to all who know her.
She has infinite determination, which she has dedicated to taking the mission of Pure Earth to the next level of public awareness.
I've been so proud to watch her journey with Pure Earth, her total belief in what you do, and her knowledge and understanding of everything.
If it wasn't for Charlotte, I wouldn't know anything about the incredible work that Pure Earth does, or the need for them to do it.
She has truly made a difference in the way that we at Pure Earth get our message out into the world.
And we all love working with her, and we all want to solve pollution with her, and we all believe that we can do it together.
That's Charlotte. Go big or go home.
She's a very cool woman. I love her to bits, and I'm really happy to be able to say congratulations, Charlotte.
Congratulations, Charlotte. Much love. That was lovely. What a treat. Now, I have the honor of introducing a good friend of Pure Earth, Ambassador Louise Blais, the Deputy Permanent Representative at Permanent Mission of Canada to the United Nations. Ambassador Blais was instrumental in support of the Lancet. She is a true female leader who's going to share a personal experience of how female leadership has changed over the years.
Thank you, Pure Earth, for organizing this luncheon to celebrate Women's Day. And thank you as well to have invited me to talk about my very favorite subject, feminine leadership. As women, we can still be jarred by the fact that statistically speaking, leadership is still a man's world. But the good news is the world is changing. More and more women are stepping forward to lead. And notably, they are doing so fully espousing feminine attributes. For too long, in order to fit in, we focused on being more authoritative, stern, serious, and even uncaring for fear of seeming weak. This was certainly my case. The go-getter, the no-nonsense qualities that fueled my rise became my albatross once I became a leader. And it sunk me, literally. I simply shut down, mentally and physically. Throughout this dark journey, I made 3 discoveries for which I'm eternally grateful for today. The first one was that vulnerability is actually a strength. Second, power lies in the authentic self. So does happiness, actually, as it turns out. And third, leading like a woman is a good thing. So I went back to work I freed myself from feeling weak or the fear of rejection. I was completely free of both those things. My new management style actually harnessed the potential of everyone around me. It was incredible to watch. I was actually surprised. I was doing this mostly to save myself, but it ended up being better for everyone around me. Why do I think this is a watershed moment? It's because women and feminine leadership is catalytic. It tends to put people first, and it boosts productivity in return. But there's something I really have to stress. Leadership is not a one-size-fits-all, even feminine leadership. The key to our collective success is not one style of leadership. It's making room for all the different kinds of leadership. There is a new generation of men who are ready to share power and actually loving working alongside women. And that wasn't true when I began my career. And this is why I tried to behave the way my male mentors did. Well, we know where that got me. We are on a roll now, and I doubt anything will stop this evolution to continue as it transforms our society, as it transforms our home, as it transforms the world. The future does look bright for women leaders. We just have to do it our own way. Thank you very much again for inviting me. Wishing you all a wonderful day. Merci.
Thank you for sharing such a personal experience with us, Ambassador, and for those inspiring words. Female leaders abound at Pure Earth, on our board of directors, the New York office, in the field, and most importantly, as leaders in the fight against pollution in the communities in which we work. You have given all of us here today some words of wisdom to take away with us, whether a female leader ourselves or a male ally. And congratulations again to our Force of Nature honorees, and thanks to all of you for being with us today. Now, I will turn to Carol Sumpkin and Jen Maracino for a quick final message.